What's up everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at the 2024 BMW X4 xDrive30i. Huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this SUV for me today. Take a look at their website, that link is down in the description. This X4 is finished off in black sapphire metallic and the MSRP is just over $63,000. Now this is powered by a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's paired to that 8-speed automatic transmission. It pumps out 248 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the xDrive all-wheel drive system, propelling this 4,100 pound SUV from 0 to 60 in 6 seconds. It has a top speed of 130 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 17.2 gallons. You'll expect to see around 21 miles per gallon in the city, 28 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 112.8 inches. Its overall length is 187.6. It has a width of 75.5, a height of 63.8, and its ground clearance measures in at 8 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this X4, take a look at the design for the kidney grille. It's a little bit differently shaped than most of the vehicles that I've seen. It's a lot taller and a little bit narrower on both sides, but it works well. There's a forward-facing camera, nice design within that mesh tube, and even active grille shutters just behind that. So those will open to provide a lot more cooling to that engine when needed. This also has LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals. And then there's parking sensors in the lower section, along with more cutouts to provide better airflow and aerodynamics, and some very nice crisp edges in those lower portions. There's also 2 subtle lines that come down the hood, have a very crisp point to them though. And then as we work our way to the side, this has a staggered setup for the wheels. They are 20 inches up front and they are a little bit wider in the rear, but they are finished off in black to match the rest of this model. This has body colored side mirrors with the turn signal and the camera system. There's a sunroof up top. All of the window trim has been blacked out as well. And there's some nice lines that run at the height of the door handle and then in that lower section as well. And for the X4, this has that sportback sloping rear glass design to it. So it's kind of a combination between an SUV and a coupe or a sports car. But in back, very nice lines at the top section of it. There's the LED taillights on both sides, and then the backup camera with all the parking sensors, and then the diffuser in the lower section with the dual exhaust. This also does have remote start, so you can triple tap on the engine start stop button in order to do that, and then just push the top of the BMW badge inwards, and that power liftgate is going to open up, where this has plenty of space. So with the back seats up, you can definitely fit in a lot of items. It's just going to be a little bit shorter with that slope compared to a traditional SUV. You have a little bit of space that you can utilize underneath the floor, so you can fit in a lot of items as needed. There's a cargo net on one side, even some hooks and a 12 volt, and then you can fold down the back seats to give you that much more interior space. You can use the buttons up top as well to close that and to lock the vehicle if you need to. Now as we work our way to the back seats, there's a really cool trim accent just behind the release handle. This model also has the interior ambient lighting. There's leather on the armrest, a little bit of storage down in the lower section, and then we have the same black leather for these seats. Now they do recline and incline, so you can get a little bit more comfortable. And at 5'10", I have plenty of space. There's storage nets, climate adjustments. You even have where you'd like the air to go. Some auxiliaries are located down below. And then right in the middle, there's the armrest with 2 cup holders, and you can even fold down this middle seat individually. So if you need a little bit more space, you can quickly do that. And as far as headroom goes, at 5'10", I have about an inch or so above my head. It doesn't really affect your headroom with that slope. It kind of affects it just behind the headrest there. So you can be slightly taller than me, still be comfortable in the back, so you can have full-size adults back here as needed. And we have that moonroof too, currently open to provide a lot of light. Now as we work our way to the front seats, the door panel is just like the rear. This has memory seating controls, power folding side mirrors, even the release for that lift gate. And then the automatic front seats, with the one exception, the front leg support is manual adjusting, but it's a low SUV, so you kind of get the best of both worlds as far as it being low like a sports car, but having a little bit more practicality. Let's fire this up though. We can go over the rest of the info. So we have the solid M steering wheel, along with it being heated. Left side, you get all the cruise control settings. The right side, there's volume tuning, and then Bluetooth and voice commands. It also has the paddle shifters, which are finished off in brushed aluminum. And then for the digital gauge cluster, on the left side, there's miles per hour, fuel level. Right side is tach and the engine temperature. Then you can also go through a few settings just by using the control on the turn signal stalk, and you can monitor all of this info as needed. So not a whole lot of configurability. It is nice though that the map is always fixed there. Now on this left side, a little bit of storage down below, all of the headlight controls along with one air vent. This does get a head-up display. So currently it is showing the speed limit sign and miles per hour. And then for the infotainment system in the middle, super easy to go through. You can get into your shortcuts like your media and phone. You can even swipe over on the home screen to go through all of these widgets. You can customize them too, depending on what you would like to have there. You can also go into car to further go through some of this information, like your sport displays. You can monitor energy flow, where the power is being sent. You have various settings that you can also go into. And this is how you gain access to the remote start. So you can turn that on and off as needed, which is nice. And then if we go all the way back, we can get back into apps where this has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So you can further go through all of those along with the shortcuts that are down below. Now there is a shortcut as well for the intelligent safety. So you can pull up all of those tech features. And then underneath that, there's all the brushed aluminum controls for your fan speed, temperature, and where you would like the air to go. Now this also has heated seats. We have a few defrosters on both sides. There's power and volume for the radio, as well as all of the presets and tuning. And then down below, this has the BMW digital key card, which you can use in place of the key fob. There's wireless charging, 2 cup holders, and an auxiliary. And then to put this into reverse, we will just push that forwards, where this does have that 360 camera system. So you have all those shortcuts, and you even have the 360 view where you can push on these icons. So that way you have a clear visibility as to what's around the vehicle, and you even have another top-down view if you would like to use that. Now, if you put the vehicle into drive and push on this control, that brings up the forward-facing camera in full screen, which is nice. Also on this side, there's traction control along with parking sensors, engine start-stop, and then a few different driving modes, just depending on how you want to drive this. So it's really going to modulate your throttle response depending on what you're doing. There's also a downhill assist control, auto hold, and the e-brake. And then a good bit of storage in the armrest, as well as in the glove box. And then up top, there's all the dome lights, as well as the controls for the sunroof and that power sunshade. And even with that steeply raked rear end, you still have a good amount of visibility over both shoulders. As we set off now behind the wheel for this X4, I don't get to drive these as often as I do the X3 and the X5. So to me, this is definitely smaller than the X5. I own an X5, so it's a lot smaller. It feels more like an X3, but you have more storage in the X3 because of the roof. However, if you want the roof, it's just something that obviously you know. So there's a little bit of a trade-off. It just depends on what you're using the vehicle for and the design, what's going to make you happy, X3, X4. Now, with this particular X4, this is more on the base entry level, I'll call it, with the engine that it has. If you want a bigger engine, you can upgrade to that. If you need a little bit more sizing, but you like this style, you can go with the X6. So the X4 and the X6 are the ones that have the steeply raked rear glass. The 3 and the 5 are the traditional SUV. But now that we're driving this, feels very similar, honestly, to my X5, very similar to the X3. Not a whole lot of differences aside from the exterior shape. So this is going to make for a great daily driver. You can rack up a lot of miles, you can put stuff in the back. It's still going to give you the space that you need. Super comfortable too. It's a BMW. It's going to be well refined, well insulated. And then when you want, you can have some spirited driving, even in this xDrive30. I will say this is quick. With a mild acceleration, we got up to speed, no question. So even for the smaller engine, this still has plenty of pep in it. And overall, it's just a nice SUV. If you're looking for something that's got that sport coupe-like design to it, it's a perfect option. You have so many more options that you can spec on this, just depending on your budget again. And from sport mode, second gear, here we go. And just like that, we are back up to speed. Very smooth in the shifts too. I like that in BMW models, even the non-performance oriented models still have very good response. So if you want to use these paddle shifters, they are very quick and responsive. So you can definitely use them if you just want to have some fun behind the wheel. But now that we are behind the wheel for this $60,000 X4, it's a great SUV. I'm not trying to be biased since I own an X5, but I've only owned it for a few months now. I really haven't had much ownership experience aside from driving all of the BMW SUVs, and that's what made me want to purchase one myself, because they're just super fun to drive, very refined feeling. I will update you guys once I've owned my X5 for several months to see if there's anything that I don't like, but so far I don't have any complaints with mine, and this seems to drive very similar to mine as well. So yeah, plenty of space, not really on the towing side, so if you do want to tow, you'll have to go with the X6 or the larger engine, so that way you can do that. But other than that, it's a really nice vehicle to drive. And that is going to wrap it up for the 2024 BMW X4. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this for me today. Check out their website, that link is down below. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.